Welcome back to another episode of the Elevated Chat Room. Elevate your mind, elevate your life. It's your host, Lonzo Jones. I'm back at it. We got a special guest with us tonight. Before I introduce him, let me introduce the topic for tonight. From renting to owning, what's the smarter move? So we got a realtor with us on tonight, Mr. Jeff Olson. Hey, Jeff, kind of tell them a little bit more about yourself.
Well, Alonzo, I started this journey about 5 years ago.
Okay.
I was a retail jeweler for 32 years, master jeweler. If you could dream it, I could make it. If you could break it, I could fix it.
Oh, wow.
Well, about 2019, I decided that I needed to find something that was going to last me into my later years because, I mean, you can't sit behind a bench for that long.
Yeah.
You know, and so came across real estate and thought I'd give my hand at it, and man, I love it. Would not change anything. I wish I started it 20 years ago.
So what is it about real estate that kind of drew you? You know, what is it?
Well, I think the thing that really drew me to it originally was freedom.
Okay.
Freedom. I've got 3 kids. You know that. I've got 3 kids. Got one in college down in Auburn. I've got one at UNA, and I've got one that's in middle school.
Yeah.
So I got a long time that I need to make some money. Because those kids are like, they look at me as an ATM. So basically, I needed something that gave me freedom so that I could still be involved in their lives, but still make a good enough living that I could support my family and take care of my wife and my kids, and we could still do things.
Yeah. Okay. So you said freedom. Now, with my experience in real estate as an investor, I have a few realtors that I contact. And they are always like on call, on the move, hustling. Even as you said tonight in the parking lot. So when you say freedom, explain that freedom really.
Yeah, it's kind of a misnomer, honestly. We say freedom, but we are on call 24/7, 7 days a week. I tell my clients I'm on the call for 366 days of the year. There is no day that I'm not. If you need me, I'm going to be there.
Yeah.
But the great thing about it is that the freedom that you see is the ability to maneuver your schedule to where it fits what you need.
Gotcha.
I would say probably the biggest thing for me was having a young child is there's stuff going on in school.
Oh yeah.
When you work a 9 to 5, you got to go to your foreman, you got to go to your boss, and you got to say, hey, can I get off for X? I don't have to do that. If somebody calls me and says, hey, I want to look at a house and it's the kids' Thanksgiving program is at 11 o'clock, I'm glad to show you a house, but it'll be at 1.
Yeah.
I can maneuver things around. So I have freedoms.
Okay. That makes sense. I was just wondering because, I mean, like I said, y'all are like, because to actually be successful as a realtor, you have to hustle. You have to grind. You have to be a go-getter because
that's the word, grind, right there.
It don't just happen.
No. If you sit and wait on it to happen, you'll starve to death.
And you can't do that, especially as a man. All right, so let me ask you this. What are the real pros and cons of renting versus buying in today's market?
Okay, so renting and buying, you have to look at what your personal goals are.
Okay.
There are pros, of course, for both. If you are a person that does not like to worry about upkeep, say you are up in age and you can't afford to take care of a lawn or can't take care of your lawn and you don't have the income to pay someone to come do your lawn, you're probably going to want to be in a rental situation. You're going to want to be in an apartment, a condo, or even just a rental home that has the ability to be taken care of for you. Now, if you are also a person that is not necessarily interested in staying in one place for a long time, like say you're upwardly mobile, you just got out of college, would it be wise for you to go ahead and buy a home if you plan on picking up a job 200 miles away from you? Probably not.
Yeah.
Now, it could be. That could still be a very, very useful thing, because what I like to tell people is that I sell real estate, but I also give real estate help. And if you purchase a home and it's at the right price point and I see that you could make more money renting that home out, I might advise you not to sell it. I might advise you, you bought it 3 years ago when you were started college. Now you're graduating, you're getting ready to move to XYZ city. Let's look at the option of possibly holding on to that home. Well, that's counterintuitive to what I do, but it also builds trust with that person.
It does.
Because I'm not out for my own personal gain. I'm interested in what's best for you personally. Now, as far as what the benefit is to owning your own home, freedom. That is the biggest thing, freedom. You have the ability to do whatever it is that you want to that home without asking someone's permission.
Yeah.
If you want to change the paint color in the house, guess what? Head to Lowe's.
Yeah.
Go get you a bucket and a couple of brushes and let's go to town.
Yeah.
If you decide that you want to have a garden in the backyard, you don't have to call somebody and say, hey, I want to do a garden. No, you just go have a garden. That's your freedom. And also you're now in a position where you're no longer static. You are actually building money. Because every time you make that mortgage payment, you are paying off a little of that principal. And every year that you own that house, you are now appreciating. And so you are growing in wealth, whether you think about it or not.
Yeah.
You literally make that monthly payment and just keep on going. Well, guess what? Every year that house is probably jumping 3%, 5% in value. So you're adding on to the top and you're subtracting from the bottom. So everything in the middle is yours.
Yeah. Okay. So what would you recommend during this particular time?
Caution. Caution. I mean, if you ask any real estate agent anywhere in America, it's always the right time to buy. It's always the right time to buy. Use level head. Don't buy a property that is more expensive than you can afford. Do not saddle yourself with a mortgage payment that you can't afford.
Okay.
Excuse me. You have to weigh the cost and then look at what you're paying in rent.
Okay.
That's if you're paying rent and you're paying $1,500 a month for rent, to rent a home, it's time to talk to a lender and see how much it would cost for you to actually be putting money into it. So you can spread that gap and have that wealth that you built. Because right now you're paying a mortgage.
Yes. For somebody
It's just not yours.
Yeah. There you go. There you go.
Well, also what we see is, of course, interest rates. Interest rates are a big deal because interest rates are what determine what that monthly cost is. Thankfully, Fed came along this week.
Yeah.
Took a little nick out of the side of it, dropped us a quarter point.
Yeah.
That's going to affect mortgage rates. I've just got off the phone with a lender about 30 minutes before I walked in the door. She just locked my people in at 5.125. That's fantastic.
Yes.
That is fantastic.
Yes.
Now that was with the permanent buy down.
Yeah.
But that's still fantastic. So when you're looking at the interest rate, you basically want to make sure that you are not overdoing your payment. But because I mean, everybody says, well, I'm not going to buy because it's 7% or it's 5% or 6%. Think about this. What percentage is rent?
Yeah. When you really
Rent
think about
is
it.
100%. You're paying 100% interest because you get no equity.
That's
you
true.
get no capital.
That is true.
So it really doesn't, I mean, it's always a good time if you can afford it or if you want a new home.
Yeah.
It's all subjective. You know, I mean, it's not something that you can quantify that, oh, this is the time to buy or that's the time to buy. When it's right for your family, that's when you buy a home.
Yeah. I like one of the things you said when you was talking about when somebody gets pre-approved. A lot of times people don't understand that just because you get pre-approved for $250,000 does not mean
that's where you need to buy.
There you go.
That's
and then
right.
some people don't go back and look at their finances. Be like, well, he said I can afford $250,000. I'm just gonna go buy $250,000 house.
Right.
And then next thing you know, you look at your money after you done did this, and you $300-$400 short every month.
That's right.
You know, so you have to be smart about that.
Something else that people fail to realize also is that mortgage payment is not the only payment that you're making. They may quote you $1,100 as your mortgage, but that monthly mortgage payment may be $1,500.
Yes.
Because you've got taxes and you've got insurance.
And you may have PMI.
And you may have PMI. More than likely, you're going to have PMI.
Especially if you're new to it.
If you're new to it, I promise you're going to have PMI.
Yeah.
But there's always, I mean, it's one of those things. That's one of the reasons why it's so important to have the right team around you. Buying a home on your own is tough.
Yes.
Especially if you haven't done it recently.
Yeah.
And I don't mean before, I mean recently. If you haven't sold a home in the last 3 years or bought a home in the last 3 years, it's all changed. Everything is different. So having someone who is in the trenches, who's out there grinding and doing what we do every single day, we know all the ins and outs. We know how to walk you through it. And we know how to guide you and how to talk you off that ledge when you get cold feet about midway through the point where you're going, oh my gosh, we actually are about to sign our life away for $300,000.
Yeah, it's pressure.
It's pressure.
It's pressure.
But having a good agent, having a good lender, having a good support staff that is there for you to answer your calls when you call, that's crucial. I mean, it changes everything.
That makes perfect sense. All right, so we kind of talked about buying versus renting on the last question. So let's kind of talk about in the long run.
Sure.
So is buying always better in the long run, or are there times when renting just makes more sense for the long haul?
Honestly. I see buying as the best long-term possibility.
Okay.
Because of the simple fact that very first thing we said, you're paying a mortgage. It's either your mortgage or it's somebody else's. Yeah. So if you buy a home and you stay in it for 10 years, now the average American stays in for 5 to 7. Okay. That's it. And I was shocked when I first heard that because my parents still live in the same house that they bought when we moved to the Shoals area.
Okay.
When I was 13. I'm 55. My mom still lives in the same house.
Yeah.
But this newer generation, the millennials, the Gen X, 5 to 7 years, that's about it. 5 to 7 years, and they're either upgrading or they're downgrading. If you sell, and I'm already seeing that, like I said, I've been doing this for 5.5 years. I am now seeing the people that I sold homes to when I first got in the business are now calling me to sell that home and get their next home. And I've sold about 172 in 5.5 years. And I can't wait until every one of them call me back.
No, I'm not selling mine. I don't understand that. Yeah, I know the interest went down a little bit, but my interest rate is I think it's right at 2 or a little bit less than 2.
Well,
so
here's the deal on that, Lonzo. I mean, this is honestly probably where that comes from. If you buy a home as a young person, say you're 22, 23 years old, you got out of college, you and your spouse, starter home, you get that 2-bedroom, 1-bath house over in Florence. Everything's great. You love it. It's wonderful. And then a year later, you've got your first child.
Yeah.
Okay. So now you've got a 2-bedroom, 1-bath home with a child. That's doable. But you got 2 boys. Tell me how long you're going to stay in that 2-bedroom, 1-bath house with a child, much less 2.
Not long at all.
No. Why?
It's too crowded.
You got no room.
It's unorganized.
So you're calling me. You're going, hey, Jeff, we need a bigger place. So now my first question to you is going to be, it's going to be one of those, we're personal, we're friends, I'm your confidant.
Yeah.
We stopping at 1? We thinking of having another one?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Why? Because
that's a good question.
It determines on what we're going to buy.
Yeah, it does.
Because if you're going to stop at 1 child, say we just want 1 kid, we don't want any more. Okay, then a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house is probably good for you. But if you're going to have 2 or 3 or 4, you're going to have some room.
Yeah.
And you're probably going to need to have some acreage because you're going to have to kick them out of the house at some time or another just to have sanity.
Yeah.
So that's where those conversations come in, is that, we got I need to know your hopes and dreams.
Yeah.
I need to know what you want. I mean, because if it's just going to be the two of you, man, we can get by with a small house and you might stay in it forever.
Yeah.
But if you're going to build a family, we need to plan.
Yep. We started off in Tuscumbia in Foxbrook Landing. Me and my wife got married, moved in together, and it was a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, but it was only about 1,400 square feet.
Yep.
Doing just fine, and then boom, after both the kids was born, and we looked around the house, and it was like we had to make paths just to walk through because we had bought the kids so much stuff.
Toys R Us exploded in your house.
I mean, slides in the living room, little mini trampolines in the kitchen, and we just was like, "Hey, this ain't working."
This ain't working.
And so we finally made that decision to sell, stay in an apartment until we found what we need. We only stayed in an apartment for like 5 months, and then we bought over in Windchase and Muscle Shoals. So I've been there. Like, so when you say like, yeah, you start off and everything's like this, and we were done. We knew we wasn't having more kids. So it's like where we moved to, like, this is the perfect size. So I'm like, look, this can be my forever home. I don't ever have to move again, you know? So.
Well, my personal path, when me and Ashley first got married, we moved into my rental house. I had a rental house I was renting, and it was 2 bedrooms, 1 bath, had a little basement area. I mean, it was a nice little house, man. I loved it. It was great. Neighborhood wasn't great. I was a single man. I wasn't worried about the neighborhood. Well, now I'm leaving a wife at home and I'm working nights, and I didn't want to leave her there. So we decided we were going to buy a new house. So we bought a house behind Walmart. We paid $135,000 for it back in 2001. Had 1 child in it. It was 3 bedrooms, 1 bath. Well, about 3 years in, Madeline came along. Now we had 2 kids in a 1,300 square foot, 3 bedroom, 1 bath home, or 1.5 bath. And we decided it was time to upgrade. So we went and found a house in Jackson Heights, paid $170,000 for that house. Sold the other one, moved into that one. 3 bedrooms, 2 bath, but it was bigger. It's like 1,900 square feet. I mean, I felt like we moved into the Taj Mahal.
Yeah.
I mean, you go from 1,300 to 1,900 with 2 kids. It's a big difference.
Big difference.
Well, that rocked along for about 7 years, and Asher came along. 3 bedrooms, 2 baths with 3 kids don't work. Yeah. So we moved to the new house over in Cypress View. And we've been there for almost, right at 13 years.
13, okay.
But your situation changing will change your outlook on what size house you need or what you need.
Yeah.
And
that makes sense, though.
We're here to just keep facilitating that dream. As that dream expands, we're going to keep moving you into that next house. And when they all move out, guess what? I'll go find you that 2 bedroom, 1 bath condo down on the beach, and we'll go send you down there because I can work from the Tennessee line all the way to the Gulf.
Okay, yeah, that would be nice, but I don't know if I want to get rid of that house. I probably would just keep it and probably rent it out or whatever. Yep. Just keep it and then find us something down on the beach if that's what we decided to eventually do. But it is an option to have, and I like the way you're thinking about like everything, like the family's future, you know, what a dynamic's going to be like, you know, are you having more, are we expanding? Like I never really thought about it like that. You know, most of the time we're just thinking about, well, right now I got a kid or 2 kids in the house and we need it bigger, but okay, but are you planning on having another one? Like I never thought about that. So yeah, that makes sense. You kind of hit on interest rates earlier. So we talked, did you go into detail about how interest rates affect if somebody should rent or buy?
Well, when the interest rates were up in the 7s and 8s,
yeah,
honestly, it was probably, if you were renting, it was probably better for you to stay where you were at.
Yeah.
Just because of the simple fact that unless you had expendable income, your rental payment was going to be probably quite a bit lower than what the mortgage payment for the same size was going to be.
Yeah.
Because as you know, when you're doing a rental property, if you're actually the landlord, you're the owner, you're looking at buying it at a certain price. And so you're paying that mortgage. Well, you're going to make sure whatever that rent is paying that whole mortgage and putting money in your pocket.
Yes, sir.
So when you look at it that way, you have to kind of balance where you are as far as with your monthly payment. But there again, honestly, it doesn't really matter what the interest rate is as long as you can afford the payment.
That's true.
And I hear people say all the time, man, I'm not buying a house. Houses have gone crazy. Man, the houses are so expensive now. Yeah, they are. They are. But the bad thing and the good thing about real estate is it doesn't usually go down.
Yeah.
It always is increasing.
Yeah.
It's just how exponentially fast is it increasing? Like back during COVID, 2021, 2022, man, we were seeing growth and price increases in such a way that we've never seen it before. Here locally, Tuscumbia, Muscle Shoals, Florence, they were averaging between 13 and 19% growth, equity growth over a year. Yeah. Unheard of. I mean, absolutely unheard of. Averages 3 to 5, maybe 7, depending on the neighborhood.
Yeah.
But we were seeing up to 19%.
And that was kind of surprising because we get letters we get letters now and we used to get them back during that time frame. And I was like, there's no way our house is valued at this much after a year.
Sure is.
Because we bought our house. We closed on our house in March of 2020.
Yeah.
We literally closed the week before the pandemic shut the whole world down.
Mm-hmm.
So during the pandemic and the next year, it was like, you get letters like, man, your house is worth this much. There ain't no way anybody's going to buy this house for this much. But that's what it is.
And what's crazy is during that time, we had a lot of people that were moving from out of state, a ton of people that were moving from out of state, and they were flushed with cash because they were on the West Coast. And if you've ever been out West, basically you start looking at houses here that'd be $100,000, $150,000 is $1 million.
Yes.
And it's crazy.
That is crazy.
It is crazy. Personal experience, mine and my wife's first home that we had over here in Muscle Shoals, the one I was telling you about, 3 bedrooms, 1.5 bath. My cousin lived outside of San Francisco in Alameda, and she had the exact same floor plan that I did, but hers was in California. Mine was here. I paid $135,000 for that house. She paid $1 million for her home. And her backyard would have fit inside my side yard. Yeah, I mean,
that's
it's crazy. But so what was happening is you had all these people that did not want to be in California anymore, didn't want to be in Oregon, didn't want to be in Washington. They wanted to get away from the crazy as far as the wild, shutting down everything. They wanted to get back to where, we were having it rough here, but it was better than out there. So they sold everything they had there and were coming here. Well, that drove our prices up because we had very few people trying to sell, but we had tons and tons of buyers.
Yes.
So when you get into that position, you are no longer necessarily limited you're only limited by your imagination on what you can get for your home.
Yeah.
Because a home is worth what someone will pay for it. It doesn't matter what you can look at Zillow, you can look at that Zestimate. That Zestimate can say $100,000, but if I'm willing to give you $200,000 for it, how much is it worth?
Yeah. But the problem is,
$200,000.
The only issue that I've seen with that is like, I always hear realtors say, or even when I'm about to flip a house or I'm doing a cash out refinance, will it appraise for that value?
Of course.
Will it appraise for that value? So what happens if it doesn't appraise for that value?
If it doesn't appraise for that, perfect question. Absolutely perfect question. Because this goes right back to what we were just talking about. All those folks that were coming from California, Washington, Oregon, or up the East Coast, up through New York, New Jersey, they were selling such large priced homes. They had plenty of cash. So as you know, for an FHA loan, it only takes 3.5% to buy it. But they might have $300,000 or $400,000 in their pocket. So they come down, they don't want to finance the whole thing. So they put $100,000 down, and then they didn't care what the appraisal was because they had cash in their pocket. Yeah. All they wanted was to get away from where they were at and get here. It was the property taxes are so low here in the state of Alabama. Those folks are used to paying thousands and thousands of dollars a month. And we're paying $700 a year, or $1,000 a year. So when they hear that, they're like, oh my Lord, that's crazy. Are you serious? I can buy this much house. So they're coming from that little 1,300 square foot house that was $1 million. Well, what does $1 million buy you in Muscle Shoals? Buys you a lakefront property or a small compound.
Yeah.
So these folks were coming in, man, they were excited. They were like, I don't care what it costs, just give it to me.
Gotcha.
So they were driving the prices up.
Okay.
And they were also bringing in flush with cash. If it wouldn't appraise, they were having their agents write basically gaps, basically a gap, appraisal gap. So that basically it said, okay, I know it may not appraise for this, but I'm competing with 25 other people for this house. We're multiple offers. You know, everybody's trying to get this house. I'll go $25,000 over list price, and I will waive the appraisal. So they just wanted the house.
Yeah.
And so that's where you get into it but now here's the thing. You want to sell it 2 years later,
You got
it may not appraise for what you paid for it. So, I mean, there's pros and cons to every situation. I mean, the appraisals are in there for a reason. They are to keep the bank safe and to prevent you from overpaying for something that's not worth it.
Right.
But there again, it comes back to, if you really want it, what's it worth to you?
Yeah.
You know, and if you have the extra cash that you can throw toward it, and you really want that house, who's to say that it's not worth it to you?
Yeah.
So,
well, that makes sense. I like the perspective. Talking about money, how these folks come in with all this cash. So, and you talked about 3% or 3.5% down on certain loans, FHA. You got conventionals and those different types of loans. So, how much money do you really need to have saved to buy a house? So, let's just say we put a number out there. Let's say you want to buy a house for $150,000. How much do you think they need?
$150,000, depending on what you qualify for and what you're looking for. There's multiple different types of loans. I mean, you can get a USDA loan, which you don't have to have any money down. That's your rural development. That's going to be out in the county.
Okay.
So you don't have to put a down payment on the property. You do have closing costs, but there's no down payment. Down payment is usually the most expensive thing that you're going to have in your purchase. For an FHA loan, it's 3.5% down. Does not limit you to 3.5%. You can put down as much as you would like, but the minimum that you need to buy the home is 3.5%. So on a $100,000 home, you're only looking at $3,500.
Yeah, that's not bad.
That's not. I mean, that's not bad at all.
No.
So it is a conventional loan is a little more difficult to get. Terms are a little different. Of course, I'm not a lender, so I try and stay in my lane best I can. But you're looking at 5% to put down. Now, this is where the misnomer comes in. Well, I can't afford to buy a house because I don't have 20% to put down. I know you probably heard that when you were growing up. Oh, you got to have 20% to buy a house. Well, that's the way it used to be. I mean, back in the day, it was 20% or nothing. You had to put 20% down on it.
That's a lot of bread.
It's a lot of bread.
The house wasn't as expensive either, though.
That's exactly right. And
inflation wasn't as bad.
It was a whole different world.
Yes, very different world.
But FHA currently 3.5%, conventional 5%, VA and USDA, you're good. You don't need it. You're straight. No down payment.
So you mentioned that it's a little bit harder to get a conventional loan. Is that based off just credit
score, credit criteria?
Yeah.
You have to have a better score. FHA 580. For a conventional, I think it's 620. I think that's right. 620 for a conventional loan.
Okay.
And it's not a great difference, but it makes a difference.
Okay.
But the great thing about conventional is you're not under all the government regulations. FHA, there's a lot of stipulations on what your property looks like when you buy it.
Yeah.
If you're going to buy something that you want to flip and or if you're going to buy something that you're going to put some work into, conventional is the only way to go. You cannot do it with FHA because A, you got to live in it, and B, it would absolutely eat you alive in all the lender required repairs.
Yeah. I've seen that because when I'm doing a flip, my realtor's like, look, if you're gonna do a flip on this one, you got to get up to pass inspection. So it's like all these little bitty knick-knack things that you normally don't do when you do a seller finance.
Guess what?
She's like, you got to get all this.
You got to do all of it.
And I was like, well, I want to flip this one because the numbers say I should flip it.
Right.
So let me get my guy over here. Let me run through this stuff and see how much more money I got to kick out.
That's it.
But it's worth more on the back end. So yeah, that's pretty good. Now USDA, you said that's in the county, 0%. VA, of course, you've had to have been in the military.
Yes, you have
or
to be
grandfather or father been in the military, or you yourself.
As far as I understand, you have to be in the military yourself. You have to have a DD 214.
Okay, all right. And closing costs, on average, what percent is that usually of your purchase price?
That is very subjective to the lender.
Okay.
It can be anywhere from 1% to 3%.
Okay.
It just depends on who you have doing your loans.
Okay.
I usually try to I always figure high whenever I would much rather you come to me after closing and go, man, it didn't cost me near as much money to close this house than to us to get to the table and you look at me and be like, dude, you told me it was going to be this and I'm paying $5,000 more.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't want that. I'd much rather you be happy on the inside of it than basically mad at me.
Yeah. So anywhere between 1% to 3%.
Yeah.
So they have to have down payment money, depending on the loan, anywhere from 3.5% to 5% minimum. And then you have to have your closing costs. Like he said, it can be anywhere from 1% to 3%. USDA, VA loans, there's no
down payment.
There's no down payment on those. Okay. So how much money do you really need saved to buy a house? There you go. We told you what the closing cost percentage is, down payment percentage, and then sometimes you do have to pay for the appraisal up front, right? What else do they have to pay up front out of pocket?
Out of pocket cost. Yeah. That's a great question because a lot of people don't touch on it.
Yeah.
Out of pocket cost. The first thing that you're going to have is earnest money.
Yep.
And most people they never even heard of earnest money. Well, earnest money is basically just a guarantee that you're serious about buying this house. That's all it is.
Yeah.
And now they don't do it around here, but if you go to Huntsville or Birmingham, they want 1%.
For real?
Of whatever you're buying. That's right. If you ain't got some skin in the game, they ain't gonna play games with you. Now I've seen some go for a couple of thousand as opposed to the full 1%.
Yeah.
But that's what they're asking for. That's what they want. Now if you're serious, they'll play games with you as far as on that number. But the great thing is that money is not just sitting out there in the ether. You know, it's basically held in a trust until closing. And then it's applied to your closing cost and they cut you a check back.
Yeah. Okay. So earnest money here,
$500 to $1,000.
There you go.
On average.
All right. So we got the earnest money. Anything else out of pocket up front?
Yes, sir. First thing you're going to do when you get it under contract, you're going to give them the earnest money check and you're going to set up your home inspection.
Home inspection.
Home inspection is going to run anywhere from, depending on who you use, there's a ton of great inspectors in our area, and they're going to run from probably $375 to $450.
All right.
Next thing you're going to have is the wood inspection report. So you're going to be calling either Cook's Pest Control or Southern Pride or whoever your favorite pest control guy is and go, hey man, I need a WIR report.
That's like termites.
And wood decay and fungus. And basically they're going to crawl underneath that house and make sure there's no termites eating it up and there's no wood decay and fungus or beetles or anything like that. And that usually runs anywhere from $90 to $125.
Okay, we'll say $125.
Then you're going to have your appraisal. That's going to be an out-of-pocket cost for some lenders. Some lenders will tack it on and let you do it in your closing cost, but most are going to ask for it up front. And the reason they do is because if that loan doesn't make and they've already paid for that appraisal, somebody's got to pay for that appraisal.
Yeah. Yeah.
If the loan falls apart and nobody buys that house, that appraiser's still getting paid. So the lenders usually pass that cost on to you up front so that they can go ahead and pay the appraiser, and it doesn't come out of somebody else's pocket if it falls apart.
Yeah. All right. And
That usually runs between, depending on the size of the house. That's it. I've seen it as low as $500,
Okay.
and I've seen it as high as about $1,100.
Mm-hmm.
So it just depends on where the property is. It depends on how big the property is. If it's 5,000-6,000 square feet,
Yeah, you're gonna pay for that.
you're going to pay for that.
Yeah.
If it's a small 1,000 square foot home, you're going to pay for that.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's relative to what you got.
Okay. All right. So we got earnest money, inspection, termite and fungus, appraisal. Anything else we missing out on?
That is basically it.
Okay.
There may be you may end up having, like, if you're buying in the county, you may end up, and you're on a septic system, you may need to have a septic inspection, or you may need to have a mold inspection. Like maybe the home inspector comes in and he finds something that's suspect,
Mm-hmm.
and they go, "Hey, you need to have a mold mold remediation team come in and look at this and make sure it's not something bad." Well, that costs money, and it comes out of your pocket. So, I mean, those are some of the things that might pop up, but your standard stuff is going to be your home inspection, your appraisal, your pest inspection, and your earnest money. And, of course, your down payment.
Okay. Are you familiar? Is it common that where some lenders allow you to roll your closing costs into your loan?
It does happen. It used to happen all the time.
Mhm.
That was the way it went.
Yeah.
I know when we bought our last home, that's exactly what we did.
Yeah.
And the time before that, we refinanced and we rolled our closing costs right into the cost of the loan.
Yeah.
So I'm not comfortable saying yes that they will now, because it all depends on the lender.
Okay.
It depends on what their personal standards are.
Yeah. So basically, when it's all said and done, when it comes to a lender, you need to shop around. You need to compare loan to loan from different companies, different businesses, and also even from the same bank or lender. They can give you different types of loans, and you can just sit there and break them down yourself.
100%. Your relationship with your lender should be only second to your relationship with your real estate agent.
Good.
Seriously, because that lender, depending on who they work for, every single mortgage company has some of them have some incredible programs
Yep.
that is only offered because of who they are. I've got lenders that offer special rates or will help you buy down a rate. It's crazy. I mean, the vast majority of the lenders have something going on, but it's all different.
Yep.
So I always say, hey, check with at least 3 or 4. Check with 3 or 4 different lenders. Tell them up front, though. Don't lead them on to think that you're definitely using them.
Yeah.
Because they put a lot of heart, soul, and hard work into what they do also. So be upfront. Say, hey, look, I'm checking rates. I want to know what you can do this house for. You're not the only person I'm looking with, but I'll let you know if I choose somebody other than you.
Yeah. I like that. What I do when I'm shopping around for my investment loans, I will literally send them, hey, this is what this guy just sent me from this lender. Can you beat
Can
this?
you beat it? That's
And
it.
I just let them, if they say they can, then show me. If not, they say, well, no, that's pretty sweet right there. I can't touch that.
If you're buying multiple properties over the course of many years and you have used different lenders, you'll learn real quick that if you get a quote, if you let somebody else try to beat it, they probably can.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's crazy.
You at least put them to the test.
You put them to the test.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy that some of the stuff that they'll pull out.
Mm-hmm.
I've got lenders that, man, I've had them get on the phone with the owner of the company. Hey, don't let me lose this. This guy's they're offering him this, but I want this loan to go through. We got this. He's a solid prospect. Let's make this happen. And they'll pull strings and move money around here. And I mean, they do all kinds of stuff. A good lender is something it's hard to get a hold of, but once you do, man, you don't
Yeah.
let them go.
Yeah, that is definitely, especially when you can start closing in 15 days.
Yes, or I've got a young lady that out of Gadsden that, man, she kills it. I mean, she just kills it. And I've got great local lenders. I'm not knocking any of them, and they all do a fantastic job. I've had great success with them, but this girl's fast.
Yeah.
She has got an underwriter that literally, I think the underwriter never sleeps, because the last 3 loans I've closed with her have been 21 days.
Yeah. You can't, I mean, that's,
And those were for FHA.
oh, wow.
That wasn't an
What?
investment loan. That was FHA.
Yeah, that's unheard of.
That's cooking.
Yeah.
That is cooking.
FHA, yeah.
FHA.
You normally going 30, 45 days.
21 days. 3 loans.
Hmm.
Crazy good. So, I mean, but
I'm going to have to get her contact.
I don't know if I can share. I don't know if I can share with you now. I mean,
Yeah, hey, your lender is going to be happy.
I know. I'm just kidding.
It's on her. So we're talking about like buying a home, as far as like all the money you need up front. Like, can you explain what a first time like down payment assistance for a first time home buyer, like those kind of things?
It actually becomes a second loan. The down payment assistance actually is a second loan that's added into the cost of the home.
Mm-hmm.
And so you are paying it back, but it is now, I take that back. In certain cases, you are paying it back. It's basically they are allowing you to finance your down payment.
Mm-hmm.
There are a couple of grants that you can get. I know one of the local banks had a government grant for up to $15,000 for down payment assistance,
Mm-hmm.
and you didn't have to pay it back.
Sweet.
Yeah. Now that was a very special sale.
Mm-hmm.
This guy, I had a what I would consider an investment property. I mean, it was rough.
Yeah.
I mean, it was in need, and he called me on that property, and we started talking. And he told me, "No, I don't need a real estate agent. I just wanted to see how much that one was." And I was like, "All right, that's not a problem." Well, I didn't give up on him. I gave him a couple of weeks, and I called him like, "Hey, man, you find a place yet?" "No, not yet. I'm still looking though." "All right, well, if I see something, I'm going to give you a call." And I just slowly built this relationship with this fella over 2 months, 3 months. Every couple of weeks, I'd just call him out of the blue. "Hey, what you doing? Where you at?" He started opening up a little more and a little more. Well, he found a for sale by owner just driving by. And he calls me up. He goes, "Hey, can you sell a for sale by owner?" I said, "I can sure try." He says, "I kind of like this house." So I called him up. They let us go and take a look at the house. We walked through it. He decided that wasn't the one. But now I had him.
Yeah.
He trusted me enough to call me to see if he'd go see something else. So we basically started really looking for a home. He finds one over here in Sheffield, not far, I mean, like a couple of streets over from here. And he loves it. It's perfect for him. I couldn't believe the condition of the house for the price. I mean, it was in amazing condition. And he was using Bank Independent to get his loan. And he kept telling me about this government grant that he was going to get from Bank Independent. I was like, I've never heard of this.
Yeah.
And I thought he was crazy. I did. I was like, there ain't no way they're just giving out free money to buy a house.
Yeah.
He was first-time home buyer. He was 58 years old, had never owned a home.
Wow.
So I got on the phone with the lender, started talking. Sure enough, they had a government assistance program, and he had never owned a home. And I mean, he checked all these boxes and everything was work. He got into it. By the time it was all said and done, he got a gift from one of his in-laws. I think it was his uncle that lived out west, that was just happy that he was getting a house on his own. And he gave him a small gift. And I think that he ended up, the house was $68,000. And I think he ended up only financing $38,000 on the home.
Wow.
And was able to keep his payment $200 lower than what he was paying rent. That included his PMI, included his everything. $200 cheaper than his rent. And this is beginning of the year. This is not like years ago. This is like beginning of this year. And we were sitting at the closing table, and I look up, and tears are just, waterworks. He is just boo-hooing, crying. And I'm like, you okay? He's like, I just never thought I could do this. He says, if you wouldn't have told me that I could buy a house and wouldn't have helped me find who to get in touch with to do it, and then walk me through it. He says, I'd never owned my own home. I'd have stayed in an apartment or in a rental. He said, I'd have never bought my own home. Still talk to him on a regular basis. I'll call him up and just be like, hey, what's going on, buddy? How you liking the house? Loves it. His favorite thing is cutting grass.
Yeah.
He's like,
yeah.
But that's why I do what I do, though, right there.
That's sweet right there, man. I got one more question for you, man. So what should first-time home buyers look for in a realtor?
Oh, that's a great question. Me.
Free advertising,
That's
baby.
right. Now, seriously, you got to find the person that you fit with.
Okay.
Not everybody fits together.
That's true. That's very true.
Now, any real estate agent anywhere can find you a house. But look, you're going to spend a lot of time with these folks. You better like them. You know, they should have a personality that complements yours. If they've got a voice that grates your nerves and you can't stand to hear it's like nails on a chalkboard, you better find somebody else.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Find someone who will actually call you back. Find someone who will answer their phone when you call, because that is the biggest complaint we hear as agents across the board. Man, I called this cat 3 times and he never even returned my call. I'm trying to buy a house and he won't even answer the phone.
No, you going, buddy.
Yeah, kick rocks.
Yeah.
Kick rocks.
That can't happen.
But that's the most important thing, I think, is find someone that'll answer the phone for you, someone that you click with, that you can feel comfortable with, and that you don't mind spending time with, because you're going to travel. You're going to be on the road, driving around, looking at houses. And if you can't find that person, call me. I'll help you.
That's what's up. Man, we pretty much knocked this thing on out. Mr. Jeff Olson. Like I said, Jeff Olson, realtor. If you don't have nobody, if you need some advice, he said, hey, call me. You want to give me a number?
Absolutely. It's 256-740-2958. I work with Remax Tri-State right over on Wilson Dam Road. Man, you can come and come to the door, come on in, sit down in my office. I'll walk you through every step of the way. No strings attached.
Yeah.
If you want to learn how to buy a house, you don't even have to use me. I will help you figure it out. Of course, I'd rather you use me, but if you just want to know how to do it and what it takes, and you want to sit down and have somebody hold your hand, walk you through it, right here, I'm your guy. Be glad to do it.
That's what's up, man. Every realtor is not the same. And I've experienced multiple different realtors with different personalities, but you definitely want to come across somebody that is of high integrity and that's willing to put in a fight with you, because sometimes it becomes a fight. You know, it's a battle sometimes, and you need someone that's very knowledgeable too. You know, because I've come across some is more knowledgeable. I'm like, yeah, I can vibe with him or her. Mm-hmm. But that's just speaking from my experience. And I like the ones that's go-getters. Yes. And like you said, if you don't answer the phone when I call, or call me back in a decent time, or send me a text saying, hey, I'm in a meeting, I'm going to call you back, then we're going to have problems. Because I'm like this when it comes to, hey, look, it's money out there. There's a whole lot of money out there.
I will say this. Sometimes if they answer the call in first ring, ain't the best either.
They ain't doing nothing. They ain't got
nothing going on. So it's a balance.
Yeah.
Got to be balanced, you know.
Okay, I see that. All right.
If they're snatching that phone up, hey, what you want?
Yeah.
They might be real hungry. They might do a great job for you.
Yeah.
But if they are busy and aren't doing stuff, there might be a reason for it.
Gotcha. That makes sense too, man. Anything else you want to close out with?
Man, just if you have the dream of owning your own home, do not sell yourself short. You can do it. I have watched it happen. Single mothers, single fathers, married couples, young people. It doesn't matter. If you want to do it, we can find the path to get there. It may not be today. It may be down the road.
Yeah.
There are if your credit's not great, if your credit's banged up, there are local organizations that will help you rebuild your credit and get you on the path to buying a home.
Yeah.
We'll get you in touch with them, and then we'll pester the living fool out of you for the next year that it takes you to get that credit rating up there and make sure that we know, hey, we're still here waiting on you.
Yeah. So it sounds like my guy Jeff here is saying, look, if you want to buy a home, leave all your excuses and contact him.
That's it.
And then y'all can go from there.
That's right.
Man, so Jeff, man, I appreciate you coming through tonight, man. I enjoyed the conversation. I learned
absolutely,
some stuff.
Alonzo.
And man, I guess I'll see you soon.
You got it.
All right, everybody, we done. That's the end of the episode tonight. Another episode of the Elevated Chat Room. Elevate your mind, elevate your life. You guys be blessed. We out.